When I gave birth to my daughter Luna, my husband Marcus said, "I'll get coffee," and disappeared forever. He blocked me on everything: Facebook, Instagram, his phone. On the most important day of my life, my husband erased me completely. 3 months later, I created a fake account to spy on him. What I found destroyed me. Marcus was posting happy photos with a pregnant woman, living his perfect life while I struggled alone with our baby. I met this woman to expose his lies, but when Marcus called us together, confused about which one of us was real, we discovered he wasn't just a cheater. He was hiding a devastating secret that explained everything. What I did next shocked everyone, including myself. Would you choose revenge against the man who abandoned your newborn baby? And what would you do if the only way to save your children was to forgive the unforgivable? I need to tell you what happened to me. I need you to understand how my perfect life turned into a nightmare in just one day. My name is Vera, and this is my story. 3 months ago, I thought I had everything. I was married to Marcus for 4 years. He was my best friend, my partner, my whole world. We lived in a cute blue house with white shutters and a garden I planted myself. We were having our first baby together. I was so excited to be a mom. I read every pregnancy book I could find. I painted the nursery soft yellow because we wanted to be surprised about the baby's gender. Marcus helped me put together the crib and laughed when I cried happy tears looking at the tiny clothes. Everything seemed perfect, but I should have known something was wrong. Looking back now, I can see the signs I missed. Marcus started working late more often. He said his boss was giving him big projects. He came home tired and distracted. When I tried to talk to him about baby names or showed him ultrasound pictures, he seemed far away. "Are you okay?" I asked him one night when I was 8 months. "Pregnant. Just stressed about work," he said, not looking up from his phone. "Don't worry about it." I believed him. I trusted him completely. That was my first mistake. The day Luna was born started like any other day. I woke up at 6 in the morning with strong cramps. I shook Marcus awake. "I think it's time," I said, trying not to panic. Marcus jumped out of bed. He seemed excited and nervous, just like I expected. He helped me pack my hospital bag and drove me to the hospital while I breathed through contractions. "We're going to meet our baby today," he said, squeezing my hand as we walked into the hospital. I was in labor for 14 hours. Marcus stayed with me the whole time. He held my hand, fed me ice chips, and told me I was doing great. When things got really painful, he rubbed my back and said he loved me. At 8:47 p.m., our daughter was born. She was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. 10 tiny fingers, 10 tiny toes, and the biggest brown eyes. The doctor placed her on my chest and I started crying happy tears. "She's perfect," I whispered. Marcus was crying too. He touched her little hand and said, "Hi, baby girl, I'm your daddy." We decided to name her Luna because she was born during a full moon. Marcus said it was a sign that she would light up our lives. For 2 hours, everything was perfect. We took pictures. We called our families. Marcus posted on Facebook that our beautiful daughter Luna had arrived safely. Then Marcus said he was going to get coffee from the cafeteria. "I'll be right back," he said, kissing my forehead. "Get some rest." That was the last time I saw my husband. Hours passed. The nurses kept asking where Marcus was. I called his phone over and over. It went straight to voicemail. Maybe his phone died, I told myself. But deep down, I knew something was very wrong. At midnight, I tried to text him. The message wouldn't go through. I tried to call again. Nothing. My hands were shaking as I opened Facebook on my phone. I wanted to see the picture he posted of Luna. But when I searched for his name, it said, "User not found." That couldn't be right. I tried Instagram. Same thing. WhatsApp showed he wasn't there anymore either. I sat in that cold hospital bed, holding my newborn daughter, and realized the truth that made my world crash down around me. Marcus had blocked me on everything. Every social media account, every way to contact him. He had deleted me from his life like I never existed. My husband had abandoned me and our baby on the day she was born. I called the nurse with shaking hands. "Something's wrong," I said. "My husband is missing." The nurse looked confused. "Missing? What do you mean?" "He went to get coffee hours ago and never came back. He won't answer his phone. I can't find him anywhere." The nurse was kind, but didn't know what to do. She called security to check the cafeteria and parking garage. No sign of Marcus anywhere. His car was gone from the parking lot. I spent that first night as a mother alone, crying and confused while my perfect baby girl slept in my arms. I kept thinking he would come back, that there was some explanation, some emergency that kept him away. But he never came back. The next morning, when it was time to leave the hospital, I had to call my sister Emma to pick us up. I had to sign all the discharge papers by myself. I had to carry Luna to the car by myself. As we drove away from the hospital, I looked back and wondered if Marcus was ever really there at all, or if the man I thought I married was just a dream that ended the moment our daughter took her first breath. The first week home was the worst week of my life. Luna cried every night, and I cried every day. I had no idea what I was doing. How do you take care of a baby when your whole world just fell apart? My sister Emma moved into our guest room to help me. She was amazing, but even she couldn't hide how worried she was about me. "Vera, you need to eat something," she said on day 3, putting a sandwich in front of me. I stared at the food. My stomach felt sick all the time. "I can't." "You have to. Luna needs you to be strong." Emma was right, but I felt so weak. Every time I looked at Luna, I saw Marcus's eyes staring back at me. Where was he? Why did he leave us? "Did you and Marcus have a fight before Luna was born?" Emma asked while she changed Luna's diaper. "No," I said. Everything seemed normal. He was excited about the baby. He helped me pack the hospital bag. He drove me there himself. "Maybe he got scared?" Emma suggested. "Some men panic when they become fathers." But this wasn't panic. You don't block your wife on social media because you're scared. You don't disappear without a word if you're just nervous about being a dad. I couldn't sleep. Every time I heard a car outside, I ran to the window thinking it was Marcus coming home. But it never was. His stuff was still everywhere in our house. His favorite coffee mug sat in the kitchen sink where he left it the morning Luna was born. His work shirts hung in our closet. His toothbrush was still in the bathroom. It was like he just vanished into thin air. On day 4, I decided to call his work. Maybe something happened there. Maybe there was an emergency. "Hi, this is Vera, Marcus's wife," I said to his boss, Mr. Peterson. "I'm looking for my husband. He hasn't been home since our baby was born." There was a long pause. "Vera, Marcus took family leave starting this week. He said he needed time to help with the new baby." Family leave? What family was he helping if not me and Luna? "Did he say where he was going?" I asked. "No, but he seemed excited about spending time with you and the baby. Is everything okay?" I hung up without answering. Marcus told his boss he was taking time off to help me with Luna. But he wasn't here. Where was he spending his family leave? Next, I called his mom, Patricia. She always liked me, or at least I thought she did. "Patricia, it's Vera," I said when she answered. "I'm looking for Marcus. Have you heard from him?" "I don't want to talk to you," she said coldly. "What? Why?" "Patricia, Something's wrong. Marcus. Disappeared right after Luna was born. Don't call here again, she said and hung up. I stared at my phone in shock. What did I do wrong? Why was Marcus's own mother being mean to me? I tried calling his brother David. Same thing. He wouldn't talk to me. It was like Marcus's whole family had turned against me, but I had no idea why. The worst part was not knowing. My brain created scary stories all day long. Was Marcus hurt? Was he in the hospital somewhere? Did someone kidnap him? Did he have an accident? But if something bad happened to him, wouldn't the police have called me? Wouldn't someone have found his car? By the end of the first week, I was going crazy. Luna could sense something was wrong. She cried more than normal babies should cry. Even when I fed her and changed her diaper and rocked her, she wouldn't. Calm down. She misses her daddy, Emma said sadly. That made me cry even harder. Luna would never remember Marcus if he didn't come back. Soon, she was too little to make memories yet. On day 7, Emma had an idea that changed everything. What if we make a fake Instagram account? She said while we were sitting on the couch. Luna was finally sleeping. What do you mean? I mean, what if Marcus didn't actually delete his social media? What if he just blocked you? If we make a fake account, maybe we can see what he's doing. Felt sick thinking about spying on my own husband, but I was desperate. I needed to know if he was safe. I needed to know why he left us. I don't know how to do that, I said. I do, Emma said. She was good with computers and social media. We can make it look like a real person. Maybe we'll find some answers. That night, after Luna fell asleep, Emma and I sat at my kitchen table with my laptop. She created an Instagram account called Sunny Days 2025 and used a picture of a random girl she found online. This feels wrong, I said. What feels wrong is your husband disappearing after your baby was born, Emma said. This is just trying to find out if he's okay. She made the account look real. She added a few photos and some followers. She even wrote a bio that made the fake girl seem like a normal person. Then she searched for Marcus. Found him, she said quietly. My heart started beating fast. Is he okay? What does it say? Emma turned the laptop toward me, and what I saw made my whole world crash down for the second time in a week. Marcus wasn't hurt. He wasn't missing. He wasn't in trouble. Marcus was living his best life. And he wasn't alone. Marcus wasn't hiding. He wasn't hurt. He wasn't missing. He was living his best life without me. And Luna. The first photo I saw made me feel like I couldn't breathe. Marcus was sitting at a fancy restaurant with white tablecloths and flowers. He was wearing the blue button-up shirt I bought him for his birthday last year. He was smiling bigger than I'd seen him smile in months. But he wasn't smiling at the camera. He was smiling at the woman sitting across from him. She had long red hair that looked perfect. Her makeup was flawless. Her hand was resting on Marcus's arm like she owned him. They looked happy. Really, truly happy. Oh no, Emma whispered. Vera, I'm so sorry. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely hold the laptop. I scrolled down to see more photos. There were so many. Marcus and the red-haired woman at the beach, both of them tan and laughing. Marcus and the woman at a baseball game. She was wearing his team's jersey. Marcus and the woman at what looked like a family barbecue with people I'd never seen before in my life. Every photo was posted in the last week. While I was home crying and wondering if my husband was dead, he was taking happy pictures with another woman. But the worst part wasn't the woman. The worst part was the comments under the photos. You two are so cute together. Marcus, you look happier than ever. When's the wedding, you lovebirds? So glad you found your person. Wedding? What wedding? I was his wife. I was wearing his ring right now. I clicked on the woman's name, Jade Martinez. Her profile was public, so I could see everything. She was 26 years old, 5 years younger than me. She worked at a marketing company downtown. She liked yoga and expensive restaurants and traveling. And according to her bio, she was engaged to the love of my life. Engaged to my husband. I screamed. I actually screamed so loud that Luna woke up in the next room and started crying. Emma ran over and grabbed the laptop. "Vera, breathe. You need to breathe." But I couldn't breathe. I fell onto the kitchen floor and started sobbing. How was this real? How was my husband engaged to another woman? Emma picked up Luna and tried to calm her down while I had a complete breakdown on the cold tile floor. "He's getting married," I said through my tears. "He's getting married to someone else." Emma bounced Luna gently and looked at the computer screen. Her face went white. "Vera," she said slowly, "look at the date on their first photo together." I looked up from the floor. "What?" "The first photo of them together. Look at when it was posted." I crawled over and looked at the screen. The oldest photo of Marcus and Jade was from 8 months ago. 8 months ago when I was 4 months pregnant with Luna. This wasn't something that happened after Luna was born. Marcus had been seeing this woman the whole time I was pregnant. "He was cheating on me," I whispered. "The whole time." I thought about all those late nights when Marcus said he was working. All those weekend trips to see college friends that I couldn't go on because I was too pregnant to travel. He wasn't working late. He was with her. He wasn't visiting college friends. He was with her. While I was home alone, growing his baby, and planning our future, he was building a whole different life with someone else. I looked at more of Jade's photos. There was one from 6 months ago at a carnival. Marcus was holding a giant teddy bear and kissing Jade's cheek. I remembered that day. I had a doctor's appointment to listen to Luna's heartbeat. Marcus said he felt sick and couldn't come with me. I went by myself and heard our baby's tiny heartbeat alone. While I was at the doctor's office by myself, Marcus was winning stuffed animals for another woman. There were photos from expensive restaurants I'd never been to. I started thinking about our bank account. Had he been spending our money on dates with her? I grabbed my phone and checked our banking app. There were charges I didn't recognize. Hundreds of dollars at restaurants I'd never heard of. Jewelry stores. Hotels. Marcus was using our money to date another woman. Money we were saving for Luna's future. "I'm going to be sick," I said. And I was. I ran to the bathroom and threw up until there was nothing left in my stomach. Emma followed me with Luna. "We need to call a lawyer." "I can't afford a lawyer," I said, sitting on the bathroom floor. "He spent all our money on her." "Then we'll figure something else out. But Vera, you can't let him get away with this." Emma was right, but I wasn't ready for lawyers yet. I needed to understand how deep this betrayal went. So I kept looking at their photos. I kept torturing myself with images of my husband's happiness with another woman. That's when I found the photo that broke my heart into even smaller pieces. Jade was at what looked like a baby shower. There were pink balloons everywhere, pink streamers, pink cake. She was sitting in a chair opening presents and smiling like the happiest woman in the world. The caption under the photo made my blood turn to ice. "Can't wait to meet our little princess. Marcus is going to be such an amazing daddy." Our little princess? I stared at the photo until my eyes hurt. Jade looked pregnant. Not very pregnant, but definitely pregnant. I checked the date. The photo was posted yesterday. Marcus's other woman was having his baby too. I stared at that baby shower photo until my eyes burned. Jade was pregnant. She was glowing and happy, and surrounded by friends celebrating her future. While I was home alone with a crying newborn, wondering why, my husband abandoned us. He was planning another baby with another woman. I couldn't stop looking at the photos. It was like picking at a wound that wouldn't heal. Emma tried to take my phone away from me, but I needed to understand how this happened. How could I have been so blind? I started looking at every photo more carefully. I remembered things differently. Now. All those nights Marcus came home late and said he was working on a big project. All those times he seemed tired and distant. He wasn't tired from work. He was tired from living two lives. There was a photo from 6 months ago at an outdoor concert. Marcus had his arm around Jade. They were both laughing at something. I remembered that night. Marcus told me he had to work late on a presentation. I ate dinner alone and fell asleep on the couch waiting for him. While I was home alone and pregnant, he was at a concert with her. Another photo showed them at a fancy hotel. They were dressed up and holding champagne glasses. The date was from 4 months ago. I was 7 months pregnant then, and Marcus told me he had to go to a work conference that weekend. There was no work conference. He took her to a hotel while I was home with swollen feet and back pain. I started checking our bank account more carefully. Every charge made sense now. The expensive dinners weren't business meetings. The hotel charges weren't work trips. Even the gas stations were in areas where Jade lived and worked. Marcus had been using our money to support his relationship with another woman for months. But then I found something that made me feel even sicker. Jade had posted a photo of a beautiful diamond ring on her finger. It was huge and sparkly and perfect. The caption said, "He surprised me with the most perfect proposal. I can't wait to start our life together." The date on the photo was 2 weeks before Luna was born. 2 weeks before my daughter was born, my husband proposed to another woman. While I was in the hospital having practice contractions and getting ready for labor, Marcus was buying an engagement ring for someone else. I ran to the bathroom and threw up again. This time Emma came with me and held my hair back. "This is too much," she said. "You need to stop looking at those photos." "I can't stop," I said, wiping my mouth. "I need to know everything." But Emma was right. This was killing me. I sat on the bathroom floor and tried to breathe. "How did I not know?" I asked. "How did I live with someone for 4 years and not know he was capable of this?" "Because normal people don't expect their husbands to live double lives," Emma said. "This isn't your fault, Vera." But it felt like my fault. I felt stupid and blind and naive. I thought about our last few months together. Marcus had seemed stressed, but I thought it was about becoming a father. He worked late a lot, but I thought he was trying to get ahead at his job before taking time off for the baby. Now I realized he was probably trying to figure out how to manage 2 pregnant women at the same time. "Emma," I said slowly, "what if there's more? What if Jade isn't the only one?" Emma looked scared. "Don't think like that." But I had to know. I went back to the laptop and started looking at Marcus's photos more carefully. I looked at who liked his posts and who commented on them. Most of the people seemed to know about Jade. They treated them like a normal couple. But there were a few comments that seemed strange. "Good to see you so happy after everything you've been through." "You deserve this happiness." "Glad you finally found someone who appreciates you." After everything he'd been through? What did that mean? I clicked on some of the people who made those comments. They all seemed to be Jade's friends or co-workers. People who knew her story but didn't know mine. That's when I realized something horrible. Marcus had been telling people a story about me. About us. About why our marriage ended. But our marriage didn't end. I was still wearing his ring. We were still legally married. We just had a baby together a week ago. What story was he telling people to make them think he deserved to move on and be happy? I found my answer in the comments on one of Jade's older photos. A woman had written, "So glad Marcus found someone who actually wants kids. His ex-wife sounds like a nightmare." His ex-wife. I wasn't his ex-wife. I was his current wife, the mother of his child. And I did want kids. I wanted Luna more than anything in the world. Marcus was lying about me to justify his relationship with Jade. I kept reading comments and piecing together the story Marcus had told everyone. According to him, I was controlling and mean. I didn't want children. I made his life miserable. Poor Marcus was trapped in a terrible marriage until he met wonderful Jade who saved him. None of it was true. I was a good wife. I supported his dreams. I was excited about having a baby. I loved him completely. But Marcus had rewritten our entire relationship to make himself look like the victim and me look like the villain. He's been lying about everything, I told Emma. Not just to me, to everyone. Emma read over my shoulder. What kind of person does this? I didn't know. The Marcus I married would never do something like this, but maybe I never really knew him at all. Then I found the photo that changed everything I thought I knew about this situation. It was a picture of Jade at a doctor's office. She was lying on an exam table with her shirt pulled up. There was a sonogram machine next to her, and she was holding a black and white photo. A sonogram photo. I could read the date on the bottom of the image. It was from 5 months ago. The exact same day as one of my prenatal appointments. Marcus had been at 2 different doctor's offices on the same day, looking at 2 different babies with 2 different women, and neither of us knew about the other. I stared at that sonogram photo until my eyes watered. The date was clear, May 15th. The same day I had my 20-week ultrasound appointment. I remembered that day perfectly. I was so excited to see Luna on the screen. I wanted to find out if we were having a boy or girl, but Marcus said he wanted to be surprised. Marcus was supposed to come with me to that appointment. We had planned it for weeks, but that morning he said he felt sick and couldn't make it. "I'm really sorry, babe," he had said, holding his stomach. "I think I have food poisoning. You go ahead, and I'll see the pictures when you get home." I was disappointed, but I understood. I went to the doctor by myself and watched Luna move around on the screen. She was perfect. The doctor said she was healthy and growing well. I took pictures of the ultrasound with my phone to show Marcus when I got home. I was so excited to share that moment with him. But he wasn't home when I got back. He said he felt better and went to the store to get medicine. Now I knew the truth. Marcus wasn't sick that day. He was at another doctor's office with Jade, looking at their baby on a different screen. While I was lying on that cold table by myself, watching our daughter's heartbeat, he was holding another woman's hand in another room. I did the math in my head over and over. If Jade's sonogram was from 5 months ago, and Luna was born 3 months ago, that meant Jade got pregnant around the same time I did. Marcus had gotten 2 women pregnant at almost the exact same time. But that wasn't even the worst part. The worst part was what I discovered when I kept looking at Jade's pregnancy photos. She had posted updates every month. Photos of her growing belly, pictures from doctor appointments, captions about how excited she was to become a mom. And in every single photo, she looked further along than she should have been if she got pregnant when I thought she did. I grabbed a calculator and started figuring out dates more carefully. If Luna was born on November 3rd, I got pregnant in early February. If Jade's sonogram from May showed a 20-week pregnancy, she got pregnant in early January. Jade was pregnant before I was. Marcus got his girlfriend pregnant, then came home and got his wife pregnant a few weeks later. "Oh my God," I whispered. Emma looked over from where she was feeding Luna. "What now?" "Emma, Look at this. I showed her the dates I had written down. Jade got pregnant first, then me. Marcus planned this. Emma's face went white as she read my notes. That's impossible. Why would someone do that on purpose? I didn't know why, but the evidence was right there. Marcus had deliberately gotten both of us pregnant around the same time. But why? What was his plan? I kept looking through Jade's photos, trying to understand. Then I found something that made everything click into place. It was a photo from Jade's gender reveal party. Pink smoke filled the air. Jade and Marcus were hugging and laughing. The caption said, "It's a girl. Our little princess is coming in February." The date on the photo was October 15th, 2 weeks before Luna was born. While I was at home, 9 months pregnant and uncomfortable, Marcus was at a gender reveal party with his other girlfriend for their daughter. Jade was having a girl too. Marcus was about to become the father of 2 baby girls, born just a few months apart, with 2 different women who had no idea the other existed. I thought about the day Luna was born. Marcus had seemed so nervous that morning. He kept checking his phone and seemed distracted. What if Jade was close to her due date too? What if Marcus was worried about both of us going into labor at the same time? The day Luna was born, Marcus disappeared after just 2 hours. He said he was getting coffee and never came back. What if he got a call from Jade? What if she was in labor too, and he had to choose which birth to attend? He chose her. I started crying again, but this time, it was different. It wasn't just sadness anymore. It was anger. Marcus had abandoned me and Luna on the most important day of our lives because his other girlfriend needed him more. "I need to know more about this woman," I said to Emma. I went back to Jade's Instagram and started looking at everything: her work, her friends, her family. I found her address from photos she had tagged. She lived across town in a nice apartment complex. I also found her parents' Facebook pages. They had posted photos from Jade's baby shower and gender reveal party. They looked so happy and excited about their new granddaughter. They had no idea their daughter was dating a married man. Then I found something that made my heart stop. A photo on Jade's mother's Facebook page from last month. It showed Jade and Marcus at what looked like a family dinner. They were sitting at a table with Jade's parents and siblings. Everyone was smiling and laughing. The caption said, "So happy to welcome Marcus to our family. Can't wait for the wedding." Marcus had met Jade's family. Her parents thought he was going to be their son-in-law. While I was home taking care of his real daughter, he was playing happy family with people who thought I didn't exist. But the photo that broke my heart completely was the last one I found. It was posted on Jade's Instagram story just yesterday. A picture of a hospital bracelet on her wrist. The text over the photo said, "Almost time to meet our baby girl." Jade was in the hospital right now. She was about to have Marcus's second daughter, and he was probably there with her, holding her hand and telling her he loved her, just like he did with me 3 months ago. Except this time, he wouldn't disappear. This time, he would stay. Couldn't sleep for 3 days after finding that hospital photo. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Marcus holding Jade's hand while she gave birth to their daughter. I saw him cutting the cord and crying happy tears. I saw him staying by her side like a real husband should. All the things he didn't do for me and Luna. Luna could tell something was wrong. She cried more than usual. Even when I fed her and changed her and rocked her for hours, she wouldn't stop crying. It was like she knew her daddy was gone forever. Emma came over every morning to help, but I could see she was worried about me. "Vera, you're not eating," she said on day 3, putting a peanut butter sandwich in front of me. "You're not sleeping. This isn't good for you or Luna." "How can I eat when my whole life is a lie?" I asked. The sandwich looked like cardboard. Everything tasted like nothing. Your life isn't a lie, Emma said gently. Luna is real. Your love for her is real. That's what matters now. But I couldn't let it go. I needed answers. I needed Marcus to face what he had done to us. Most of all, I needed Jade to know the truth. She thought she was in love with a single man who had gotten out of a bad marriage. She thought she was starting a beautiful new family with someone who chose her. She had no idea she was the other woman in his life, not me. So I made a plan. First, I created a new fake Instagram account. This time, I used my real photo, but a different name. I called myself Victoria Smith and said I was new in town. I made the profile look real. I added photos of coffee cups and sunset pictures. I wrote a bio that said I was a new mom looking for friends. Then I followed Jade. She followed me back. Within 2 hours. She seemed like the type of person who was friendly to everyone. I waited a day, then sent her a message. Hi. I saw you're pregnant too. I just had my baby a few months ago. Would you like to meet for coffee sometime? It's so nice to meet other moms in the area. She wrote back right away. Yes, I'd love that. I don't know many people here since I moved from Portland last year. When are you free? My heart was pounding as I typed back. I was about to meet the woman my husband was cheating with. The woman he chose over me and Luna. How about Saturday morning? There's a nice coffee shop downtown called Sunrise Cafe. I could bring my baby if that's okay. Perfect. I can't wait to meet you and your little one. What's your baby's name? Luna. I typed before I could stop myself. What a beautiful name. I'm due any day now with a little girl too. Maybe they can be friends someday. Friends. Our daughters were going to be sisters, and Jade had no idea. We made plans to meet at 10 on Saturday morning. I would bring Luna in her car seat. Jade would see Marcus's first daughter, and I would tell her everything. But first, I had some work to do. I spent the next 2 days collecting evidence. I took screenshots of all the photos of Marcus and Jade together. I wrote down dates and times. I made a timeline of all his lies. I also went through Marcus's things that he left behind. In his desk drawer, I found receipts from all the expensive restaurants where he took Jade, receipts from the jewelry store where he bought her engagement ring, even receipts from hotels. He had been keeping track of everything, probably for taxes, but now it was evidence of his double life. The most shocking thing I found was an envelope hidden at the back of his desk drawer. Inside were legal papers. Divorce papers. Marcus had already filed for divorce from me. The papers were dated 2 months ago when I was still pregnant. They were signed by him and ready to be served to me. He had been planning to divorce me and marry Jade all along. But if he already filed for divorce, why hadn't I been served the papers yet? Why was I just finding them now? I read through the documents carefully. Marcus was asking for joint custody of Luna, but no child support. He wanted to split our house and savings 50-50. That's when I understood his real plan. He wanted to divorce me quietly after Luna was born. He wanted to keep me from knowing about Jade until it was too late to fight back. He probably planned to serve me the papers after. He married Jade when I would be too overwhelmed with a new baby to get a good lawyer. He wanted to have it all. 2 daughters, 2 women who loved him, and no consequences. But he made one big mistake. He underestimated me. I spent Friday night preparing for the coffee shop meeting. I picked out Luna's prettiest pink dress. I did my makeup for the first time in weeks. I wanted to look strong and put together. I also practiced what I was going to say to Jade. How do you tell someone that the man they love is married to someone else? How do you explain that their perfect relationship is built on lies? Saturday morning came too fast. I was nervous and scared, but also angry. Jade deserved to know the truth, just like I did. As I got Luna ready to leave, I looked at her. Sweet little face. She was innocent in all of this. She didn't ask to have a father who could abandon his family. "We're going to meet your sister today," I whispered to her. "And hopefully, we're going to make sure your daddy never lies to anyone again." Luna looked up at me with her big brown eyes, the same eyes as Marcus, and smiled. It was time to face the truth. Saturday morning felt like the longest morning of my life. I changed Luna's outfit 3 times before settling on the pink dress with tiny flowers. I wanted her to look perfect when she met the woman who had stolen her father. I put on makeup and brushed my hair, trying to look like I had my life together. But inside, I was falling apart. The coffee shop was busy when I arrived. Families were having breakfast together, normal families with fathers who didn't abandon their babies. I found a quiet table in the corner and set Luna's car seat down, carefully. She was sleeping, looking like a perfect angel. I ordered coffee with shaking hands and waited. Then I saw her walk through the door. Jade was even more beautiful in person than in her photos. She had that pregnant glow that everyone talks about. Her red hair was shiny and perfect. She wore a flowing blue dress that showed off her round belly. She looked exactly like I should have looked when I was pregnant with Luna, happy and healthy and excited about life. She spotted me right away and walked over with a huge smile. "Victoria?" she said in a sweet voice. I stood up to hug her, my heart pounding. "That's me. You must be Jade." When she hugged me, I could feel her baby moving in her belly. Marcus's baby. Luna's sister. "Oh my goodness," Jade said when she saw Luna in her car seat. "She is absolutely beautiful. What's her name again?" "Luna," I said quietly. "Luna, what a perfect name for such a perfect little girl. How old is she?" 3 months. Jade sat down across from me and immediately started making funny faces at Luna, who woke up and smiled at her. Even my baby liked this woman. It made everything so much harder. "So, when are you due?" I asked, even though I already knew. "Any day now," she said, rubbing her belly lovingly. "We're having a girl too. Marcus and I are so excited." There it was, his name, out in the open between us. "Marcus," I repeated. "That's a nice name for a father." Jade's whole face lit up when I said his name. "Oh, he's the most amazing man I've ever met. I never thought I could find someone so caring and devoted. He takes care of everything. He comes to every doctor's appointment with me. He's already painted the nursery pink. He even reads pregnancy books to learn how to help me." Every word felt like a knife in my heart. Marcus never read pregnancy books with me. He missed half my doctor's appointments because he was too busy with work. He painted Luna's room, but only after I begged him to do it for weeks. "How long have you two been together?" I asked. "About 1.5 years," she said dreamily. "We met at a work conference in Portland. It was love at first sight. He was going through a really difficult divorce at the time, but we just couldn't stay away from each other." A difficult divorce? Is that what Marcus called our marriage? "He was married before?" I asked, trying to sound casual. Jade's face got sad. "Yes, to this terrible woman named Vera. She was so controlling and mean to him. She didn't want children, but he did. She made his life miserable for years." I almost dropped my coffee cup. "What do you mean she didn't want children?" "I know. It's awful, right? Marcus said she complained the whole time she was pregnant. She told him she didn't even want the baby and threatened to give it away after it was born. What kind of woman says that about her own child?" My head was spinning. None of that was true. I wanted Luna more than anything in the world. I was excited about every part of being pregnant. I never once complained about the baby or threatened to give her away. Marcus had been lying to Jade about me from the very beginning. That's horrible," I managed to say. "I know, But Marcus is completely done with all that now. As soon as his divorce is final, we're getting married at the beach in June. Our little girl will have the loving home she deserves, not like that poor baby stuck with such a terrible mother. I looked down at Luna, sleeping peacefully in her car seat. Jade had no idea she was looking at the baby she thought was unwanted, the baby whose mother she thought was terrible. What happened to that baby? I asked carefully. The one his ex-wife had? Jade waved her hand like it didn't matter. Oh, she kept it, but Marcus said she's a horrible mother. He's not even asking for custody because he doesn't want our daughter exposed to that toxic environment. He said it's better if that child stays with the crazy mother and we start fresh with our own family. I felt like I was going to throw up. Marcus was telling Jade that I was a bad mother to our daughter. He was pretending Luna didn't matter so he could play happy family with his new woman and their baby. Wow, I said. That sounds really hard for him. It was, Jade said. But he's so strong. Even when that woman was harassing him and trying to make his life difficult, he stayed positive. He had to block her on everything because she was stalking him online and calling him constantly, trying to ruin our relationship. Stalking him? I called him twice after Luna was born because I was his wife and didn't know where he was. That must have been scary, I said. It was, but now we can focus on our future. Our wedding, our baby, our life together. Marcus said he's never been happier. He said meeting me saved his life. Luna started to wake up and make soft baby noises. Jade leaned over to look at her more closely. She really is the most beautiful baby I've ever seen, she said. You're so lucky to have such a perfect little girl. I hope our daughter is half as pretty as Luna. That's when I knew it was time. Jade, I said quietly, I need to tell you something important. What is it? She asked, still smiling at Luna. I took a deep breath. There was no going back now. My real name isn't Victoria, I said. It's Vera. Jade looked confused for a moment. Vera? That's a pretty name. Why did you say your name was… Then I watched her face change as the truth hit her. Her smile disappeared. Her hand moved to her throat. The color drained from her cheeks. Vera, she whispered. As in, Marcus's ex-wife. Yes. I picked up Luna and held her close to my chest. And this is his daughter. The baby you thought I didn't want. Jade stared at us like she was seeing ghosts. Her mouth opened and closed, but no words came out. Everything Marcus told you about me is a lie, I said gently. I wanted this baby more than anything in the world. I loved being pregnant. I never threatened to give her away, and I never harassed him. I called him twice after she was born because my husband disappeared and I didn't know why. Jade's hands were shaking. She looked like she might faint. This can't be real, she stammered. Marcus said you were terrible. He said you didn't want children. He said whatever he needed to say to make you feel sorry for him, I interrupted. Just like he lied to me about working late and going on business trips. Just like he's been lying to both of us for over a year. I pulled out my phone and showed her the screenshots I'd saved. Photos of Marcus with both of us on the same days. Dates that proved he was cheating on me with her while I was pregnant. Look at the dates, Jade. Look when these photos were taken. I was pregnant the whole time. You two were together. He was with you while I was home alone, getting ready for our baby. Jade looked at the photos on my phone, and I watched her whole world fall apart just like mine had 2 weeks ago. No, she whispered, tears starting to fall. No, this isn't right. He loves me. We're getting married next month. We're having a baby together. You are having a baby together, I said. But he's still married to me. Those divorce papers he showed you, they were never filed. We're still legally married, Jade, which means everything. He promised you is built on lies." Jade put her head in her hands and started sobbing. Big, ugly sobs that made people at other tables turn and stare. I should have felt good watching her cry. She was the other woman who helped destroy my marriage. But sitting there, seeing her heart break exactly like mine did, I only felt sad for both of us. "How long?" she asked through her tears. "How long was he lying to me?" "From the very beginning," I said softly. "You said you met at a work conference. A year and a half ago? I was 4 months pregnant then. He came home from that conference and told me how boring it was and how much he missed me." Jade looked up at me with red, swollen eyes. But he seemed so real, so honest. He talked about our future together, our wedding, our family. He introduced me to his friends. "His friends probably don't know about me either," I said. "Marcus is very good at keeping his lives separate." "But what about his family? His mom and dad love me. They're excited about the wedding." My heart sank. "Marcus told his family about you?" "Of course. We have dinner with them every Sunday. They treat me like a daughter. They're so excited about becoming grandparents." I felt sick. Marcus's parents thought Jade was his real girlfriend. They were excited about her baby while treating me like I didn't exist. That's why his mother hung up on me when I called looking for him. She thought I was the crazy ex-wife trying to ruin their son's happiness. "Jade," I said carefully, "his family doesn't know I exist anymore. Marcus told them some story about why our marriage ended. They think you're his first chance at real happiness." Jade started crying harder. "This is insane. How could someone live like this? How could he lie to so many people?" We sat in silence for a few minutes. Luna was awake now, looking around with her big brown eyes. She reached out her tiny hand toward Jade, like she was trying to comfort the woman who was crying over her daddy. "She looks just like him," Jade said quietly. "Yeah, she does." "I can't believe this is happening," Jade said. "I can't believe the man I love, the father of my baby, could do something like this." "I couldn't believe it either," I said. "But here we are." Jade wiped her eyes with a napkin. "What happens now? What are we supposed to do?" I leaned forward. "That depends. Are you going to let him keep lying? Are you going to let him choose which family he wants while the other one gets thrown away? Or are we going to make sure he faces what he's done to both of us?" For the first time since I told her who I was, Jade looked angry instead of just sad. "What do you mean?" she asked. "I mean, he thinks he can have everything. He thinks he can just walk away from me and Luna and start over with you and your daughter like we never happened. But what if we made sure everyone knew the truth?" "Everyone?" "His family who think you're his one true love. His friends who think he's this great guy starting fresh. His co-workers who probably think he's a devoted family man. What if they all knew he's been living a double life?" Jade was quiet for a long time, thinking. "He told me you were the villain in his story," she said slowly. "He made me feel sorry for him. He made me think I was saving him from a terrible situation." "But you weren't saving him," I said. "You were just the other half of his lie." "And his family? They've been so kind to me. They think I'm going to be their daughter-in-law. They think my baby is going to be their first grandchild." "But Luna was their first grandchild," I said, looking down at my daughter. "They just don't know. She exists." Jade reached out slowly and touched Luna's tiny hand. Luna wrapped her fingers around Jade's finger and held on tight. "She's going to be my daughter's sister," Jade said softly. "Yeah, she is." "I want to tell them the truth," Jade said, looking up at me with determination. "I want everyone to know what kind of man Marcus really is." "Are you sure?" I asked. "Once we do, there's no going back. Your whole life is going to change." Jade looked down at Luna, still holding her finger, then put her other hand on her own belly. "My life already changed the day I met him," she said. "I just didn't know how much of it was a lie." She pulled out her phone. "Where do we start?" But before I could answer, my phone started ringing. The name on the screen made my heart stop. Marcus. I stared at the phone while it rang. Jade's eyes went wide when she saw his name. "Don't answer it," she whispered. But I had to. After 3 months of wondering where he was and why he left, I needed to hear his voice. I needed answers. "Put it on speaker," Jade said quietly. My hands were shaking as I answered the call. "Hello, Marcus." "Vera." His voice sounded different than I remembered. Tired. Worried. "We need to talk." "Oh, we're way past talking," I said, trying to sound stronger than I felt. "But go ahead. I'm listening." "We're both listening." There was a long silence on the other end. Then, "Both?" "Yes, Marcus. Both. I'm here with Jade. We've been having a wonderful conversation about your brain tumor and your terrible ex-wife and all the lies you've been telling." I heard him curse under his breath. "Vera, I can explain everything." "Can you?" I interrupted. "Can you explain why you abandoned your wife and newborn daughter? Can you explain why you've been living 2 completely different lives for over a year? Can you explain why you told Jade I was a terrible mother who didn't want our baby?" "It's not what you think." "Then what is it, Marcus?" Jade spoke up, her voice getting stronger. "What is it really? Because right now we think you're a lying, cheating coward who was willing to destroy 2 families to get what you wanted." Another long pause. When Marcus spoke again, his voice was barely a whisper. "You don't understand the pressure I was under." "What pressure?" I asked. "The pressure to be perfect. To be the perfect husband, the perfect father, the perfect man. I was drowning, Vera. Our marriage was... We were like strangers living in the same house. We barely talked anymore except about baby stuff." "So you decided to have an affair instead of talking to me about your feelings?" "It wasn't supposed to happen like this." His voice got louder and more desperate. "I met Jade at that conference, and she was everything you weren't. She was excited about life. She laughed at my jokes. She made me feel like I mattered again." "So you got her pregnant while your wife was already carrying your child?" Jade said, her voice cold as ice. I thought I could make it work somehow. I thought I could figure out how to have both lives until I decided what I really wanted." "And what did you decide you really wanted?" I asked, even though I was afraid of the answer. There was another long pause. Luna started fussing in my arms, like she could feel the tension in the room. "I wanted the life with Jade," he said finally. "The fresh start, the excitement, the feeling of being wanted and needed and appreciated." Those words hit me like a punch to the stomach. After 4 years of marriage, after carrying his child, after building a life together, he wanted to throw it all away for excitement. "So you just disappeared," I said, my voice breaking. "You blocked me on everything and pretended Luna and I didn't exist." "I panicked, okay? When Luna was born and I saw her, she was so perfect and tiny, and I realized what I was giving up. But I'd already promised Jade everything. I'd already told her we'd get married. I felt trapped." "You felt trapped?" Jade laughed, but it wasn't a happy sound. "You created this mess, Marcus. You made these choices. Nobody forced you to lie to 2 women for a year." "And the stories you told about me?" I asked. "About me being controlling and not wanting children? Why did you lie about that?" His voice got even quieter. "Because I needed Jade to understand why I was leaving my marriage. I needed her to believe that you were the problem, not me. I couldn't tell her the truth, that I was just selfish and wanted 2 different lives." So you made me the villain in your love story, I said. I'm sorry, he said. I'm so sorry. I never meant for it to go this far. Where are you right now? Jade asked. I'm at the hospital. My heart stopped. The hospital? Are you hurt? Are you sick? No, I'm here with Jade. Our daughter was born this morning. Jade's face went white. What are you talking about? I'm sitting right here. I'm not in the hospital. There was confusion in Marcus's voice. What? Jade, what do you mean you're sitting there? Where are you? That's when I realized what was happening. Marcus thought. He was talking to me alone. He didn't know that Jade and I were together. Marcus, I said slowly, who do you think you're with at the hospital? I'm with Jade. We just had our daughter. Her name is Maya. She's beautiful and perfect and… Marcus, Jade interrupted, her voice shaking. I'm sitting in a coffee shop with your wife and your other daughter. I haven't had my baby yet. Who are you really with? The silence on the phone lasted forever. I could hear Marcus breathing, but he wasn't saying anything. Marcus, I said, who is with you at the hospital? When he finally spoke, his voice was so quiet I could barely hear him. I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? Jade asked. I mean, I thought she was you. She has red hair like you. She's having a baby. She said her name was Jade. But now that you're saying you're not here? My blood turned to ice. Marcus, how many women are you seeing? I don't… This is so confusing. Are you telling us there's a third woman? Jade asked, her voice rising. No, I mean, maybe? I don't know anymore. Everything is so mixed up in my head. I looked at Jade across the table. Her face showed the same horror I was feeling. Marcus, I said carefully, are you feeling okay? You sound confused. I am confused. I've been confused for months. Sometimes I forget things. Sometimes I can't remember where I am or what day it is. The stress of all this has made everything worse. What kind of things do you forget? Jade asked. Names, dates, conversations. Yesterday, I couldn't remember how to get to your apartment. Jade, I drove around for an hour before I found it. A terrible thought was forming in my mind. Marcus, have you seen a doctor about this confusion? Yes, he said quietly. That's what I need to tell you both. That's the real reason I've been acting so crazy. What did the doctor say? I asked. He said I'm sick, Vera. Really sick, and it's only going to get worse. The coffee shop seemed to spin around me. Jade reached across the table and grabbed my hand. What do you mean, sick? I asked, my voice barely a whisper. There was a long pause on the phone. I could hear hospital, sounds in the background, beeping machines, people talking, the busy noise of a place where babies are born. I have early onset Alzheimer's disease, Marcus said quietly. I felt like all the air had been sucked out of my lungs. Jade gasped so loud that people at other tables looked over at us. What? I whispered. I was diagnosed 8 months ago, right around the time Luna was conceived. The doctor said, I probably have 5 to 10 years before it gets really bad. Maybe 15 if I'm lucky. I stared at the phone like it was lying to me. You're lying. You're making this up to get out of trouble. I'm not lying, Vera. I have the medical records. I can show you everything. My hands were shaking so badly, I could barely hold the phone. 8 months ago was when Marcus started acting strange, when he started working late and seeming distant. Why didn't you tell me? I asked, tears starting to fall. Because I was scared, he said. Because I knew it would change everything. Because I didn't want you to stay with me out of pity or duty. So instead you had an affair? Jade said. Instead you got me pregnant too? I panicked, Marcus said. When I got the diagnosis, I felt like my life was over before it really started. I was going to be a father, but I might not remember my child's name in a few years. I was going to be a husband, but I might not remember why I fell in love with you. Tears were running down my face now. Luna was fussing in my arms like she could feel how upset I was. When I met Jade at that conference, Marcus continued, she made me feel normal again. Like I was just a regular guy with a regular future. She didn't know about the diagnosis, so when I was with her, I could pretend it wasn't real. But you got me pregnant, Jade said, crying now too. You started a family with me knowing. You might forget us? I wasn't thinking clearly, Marcus said. The diagnosis, it messes with your mind even before the disease really takes hold. You make bad decisions. You do desperate things because you're running out of time. I looked at Luna in my arms, my beautiful daughter, who might grow up without memories of her father because he might not have memories of her. What do the doctors say about how fast it will progress? I asked. It's different for everyone. Some people decline quickly in just a few years. Others stay stable for much longer. There's no way to know for sure. And right now, how are you doing right now? I have good days and bad days. Sometimes I forget things that just happened. Sometimes I get confused about where I am or what day it is. The stress of keeping track of two different lives has made it much worse. Jade wiped her eyes. Is that why you seemed forgetful sometimes? Why you'd show up late for dates or forget conversations we had? Probably. I tried to hide it from both of you, but it's getting harder. We all sat in silence for a moment. Around us, the coffee shop was full of normal people having normal Saturday conversations. Meanwhile, our whole world was falling apart and coming together at the same time. Marcus, I said finally, who are you really with at the hospital right now? I thought it was Jade, but now I'm not sure. She has red hair like Jade. She's having a baby. When she told me her name was Jade, I believed her. You believed a stranger who said she was your girlfriend? Jade asked. My memory isn't working right, Marcus said sadly. Sometimes I can't tell what's real and what's not. Sometimes I forget which life I'm supposed to be living. I closed my eyes and tried to process everything. My husband wasn't just a cheater. He was sick, really sick. And the disease was making him confused about reality. The woman at the hospital, I said. What does she look like exactly? Red hair, like I said. Green eyes. She seems to know me, but I can't remember how we met. She keeps talking about our relationship, but I don't remember most of what she's saying. Jade and I looked at each other across the table. Marcus, Jade said gently, I think you need to ask that woman some questions. I think you might be with someone who's lying to you, just like you lied to us. What do you mean? I mean, what if there's a third woman? Who knows about your condition and is taking advantage of it? What if she's pretending to be your girlfriend because she knows you might not remember? The thought was terrifying. If Marcus was confused about reality, anyone could manipulate him. I need to come there, I said. We both need to come there and figure out what's happening. You want to come to the hospital? Marcus asked. Yes. You're sick and confused and someone might be taking advantage of you. Despite everything you've done to us, we can't let that happen. But you hate me, Marcus said quietly. I looked at Luna sleeping in my arms, then at Jade sitting across from me with her hand on her pregnant belly. I hate what you did, I said. I hate the lies and the cheating and the way you abandoned your family. But Marcus, if you're really sick, if you're really losing your memory, then maybe we need to help you figure out what's real and what's not. You would do that? He asked. After everything I put you through? I looked at Jade again. She nodded at me. "These babies are going to be sisters whether we like it or not," I said. "And if their father is going to forget them, then maybe they need to know the truth about who he really was before. The disease changes him completely." "What are you saying?" Marcus asked. "I'm saying we're coming to the hospital, all of us, and we're going to figure out how to fix this mess together." But as we prepared to leave the coffee shop, I had no idea that what we would find at the hospital would change all our lives in ways we never could have imagined. The drive to the hospital was the longest 20 minutes of my life. Jade rode with me and Emma, her hands shaking as she held Luna's car seat. None of us knew what we would find when we got there. "What if this mystery woman is dangerous?" Emma asked as we pulled into the hospital parking lot. "What if she's been planning this?" Jade added. "What if she knows about Marcus's condition and has been waiting to take advantage of him?" I didn't have answers. All I knew was that my sick husband was alone with a stranger who was pretending to be someone she wasn't. We found Marcus in the maternity ward, sitting in a chair outside a hospital room. He looked terrible. His hair was messy, his clothes were wrinkled, and his eyes were red like he'd been crying. When he saw us walking toward him, he stood up slowly. "Vera," he said softly. "You came." "Of course I came," I said. "Where is this woman who says she's Jade?" Marcus pointed to the room behind him. Through the window, I could see a woman with red hair, holding a newborn baby. She was smiling and talking to a nurse. "She does look like me," Jade whispered. But when the woman turned toward the window, I could see she was much older than Jade, maybe 40 years old. And something about her smile seemed fake. "Marcus," I said, "how long have you known this woman?" I can't remember," he said, looking confused. "She says we've been together for months, but I don't remember meeting her. When I try to think about it, my head hurts." That's when I realized what was happening. This woman had been watching Marcus. She probably knew about his condition. She knew he was confused and vulnerable. "We need to talk to her," I said. I knocked on the hospital room door. The woman looked up and smiled, but when she saw me and Jade together, her face changed. "Who are you?" she asked. "I'm Vera, Marcus's wife," I said. "And this is Jade, his girlfriend. We need to ask you some questions." The woman's fake smile disappeared completely. "I don't know what you're talking about. Marcus and I are together. We just had our baby." "What's your name?" Jade asked. "Jade Martinez," the woman said quickly. "No," Jade said, stepping forward. "I'm Jade Martinez. Who are you really?" The woman looked scared now. She held the baby closer to her chest. "I think you need to leave," she said. "I think you need to explain how you know Marcus and why you're pretending to be someone else," I said. A nurse came into the room to check on the baby. "Is everything okay in here?" she asked. "This woman is lying about who she is," I said. "She's pretending to be someone else to take advantage of my husband, who has Alzheimer's disease." The nurse looked confused. "Ma'am, what's your name?" she asked the woman with red hair. It's Jade," the woman said, but she didn't sound sure anymore. "Can I see your ID, please?" the nurse asked. The woman fumbled through her purse and pulled out a driver's license. The nurse read it and frowned. "This says your name is Catherine Wells," the nurse said. Catherine, not Jade. This woman had been lying to Marcus about everything. "Why did you tell my husband your name was Jade?" I asked. Catherine looked trapped. She glanced at Marcus, who was standing in the doorway looking more confused than ever. "He was so sad," she said finally. "He kept talking about someone named Jade who he missed. He was at the bar where I work, crying into his drink. I felt sorry for him." "So you pretended to be her?" Jade asked. At first, it was just to make him feel better. But then he kept coming back to the bar, and he seemed so lonely. He told me about his condition, about how he was forgetting things. I thought maybe I could help him. "By lying to him?" I said. "By giving him someone to care about?" He was falling apart. He said his wife didn't understand him and his girlfriend was having doubts about their relationship. He needed someone who would just love him. I looked at Marcus. He was staring at Catherine like he was trying to remember her. "How long has this been going on?" I asked. "About 2 months," Catherine said. "He started coming to my bar after work." He was so confused and sad. Sometimes he would forget my real name and call me Jade. Eventually, I just started answering to it. "And the baby?" Jade asked, looking at the newborn in Catherine's arms. Catherine's face got red. "The baby isn't his. The father is my ex-boyfriend who left me when I got pregnant." But Marcus was so excited about becoming a father again, and he was so confused about dates and times. "So you let him think he was the father?" I said. "He needed to feel useful. He needed to feel like someone wanted him around." I felt sick. This woman had been taking advantage of Marcus's illness to get help with her own problems. "Marcus," I said gently, "do you remember this woman at all?" Marcus shook his head slowly. "I remember being sad. I remember going to a bar. But I can't remember her face or her real name. Everything is so mixed up." The nurse called security to help sort out the situation. Catherine would have to explain to the police why she had been lying to a man with a serious medical condition. As we left the hospital, the 3 of us walked slowly to the parking lot. Marcus looked lost and scared. "What happens now?" he asked. I looked at Jade, who was due to have her real baby any day. I looked at Luna sleeping in her car seat. I looked at Marcus, the man I had loved and married, who was slowly losing his mind to a terrible disease. "Now we figure out how to be a family?" I said. "A family?" Marcus asked. "After everything I've done?" "You're sick, Marcus," Jade said. "You made terrible choices, but you're sick. These babies are going to need their father while they can still have him." Over the next few weeks, we worked out an arrangement that nobody would have believed possible. Marcus moved into the guest room of our house. Jade moved into the apartment next door when she found out it was for rent. When Jade's daughter Maya was born 2 weeks later, Marcus was there. So was I. So was Luna. We became the strangest family anyone had ever seen. 2 women, 1 man, 2 baby girls, and a disease that was slowly taking away the person we had all loved in different ways. It wasn't easy. There were fights and tears, and days when we all wanted to give up, but we made it work because we had to. Because love isn't just romance. Love is choosing family even when family is complicated. Marcus's condition got worse over the months. Some days he forgot where he put his keys. Other days he forgot what year it was. But he still remembered our daughters' names. He still remembered that he loved them. Jade and I became best friends. We raised Luna and Maya like sisters. They would grow up, knowing they had the same daddy and that their mothers chose love over anger. When people asked how we made it work, I told them the truth. We decided that our children deserved better than their father's mistakes. They deserved a family that chose them over pride, over hurt feelings, over what other people might think. Marcus won't remember us forever, but we'll remember him. And our daughters will know that. Even when their daddy's mind forgot how to love properly, their mothers never forgot how to forgive. Sometimes the most broken families are the ones that love each other the most. Sometimes the end of one story is just the beginning of a better one. And sometimes the best thing you can do for the people you love is to choose them every single day, even when they can't choose you back. That's my story. Sometimes the most broken families become the strongest ones. Sometimes, forgiveness isn't about forgetting the hurt. It's about choosing love for the people who need it most. I'd love to know where you're listening from. Drop a comment below and tell me what city or country you're in. Your stories and support mean everything to me. If this story touched your heart, please hit that like button. It really helps spread these messages of hope and kindness to people who might need to hear them today. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel because we share real stories about real people. Choosing love over anger, forgiveness over revenge, and family over everything else. There's another powerful story waiting for you right now. Click on the video appearing on your screen. It's about a woman who discovered something incredible about her husband's secret, and what she did will restore your faith in second chances. Thank you for listening, and remember, sometimes the most beautiful families are the ones that nobody expects to work.